In June 1986, Michael Jackson underwent another operation to have his nose made slimmer, his fourth rhinoplasty. He also wanted Stephen Hoffman to create a cleft in his chin. Years later, he would tell one associate that the greatest show I ever had was when I had chins about my face. This same associate asked Michael for advice about rhinoplasty surgery, and Michael recommended that Stephen Hoffman operate on him. There's nothing to it, man, Michael said. After the first one, it doesn't even hurt that much. Once you have it done, you'll never stop looking in the mirror. That's how great you'll feel about yourself. Do it, you'll love it. When Michael told Catherine he was going to have a cleft put in his chin, she thought he was going to actually put it overboard. Why? She wanted to know. I don't understand. As Catherine told a friend of hers, Michael explained, I can afford it. I want it, so I'm going to have it. It was as if he were buying a new car instead of undergoing painful appearance changing plastic surgery, whereas most people could only fantasize. Would a new nose be nice and maybe a new chin too? Michael would afford to make those whims a reality. And I think if more people could afford it, they would do it too, his sister Jenna has reasoned. I see nothing wrong with it. One psychologist has speculated that it was Michael's narcissistic side that dictated he had a cleft carved into his chin. Michael Jackson was obviously becoming more and more enchanted by his own image. Dr. Raymond Johnson said he is apparently continuing his quest for the perfect face. I do want the perfect face, Michael confirmed. I look in the mirror and I just want to change and be better. I always want to be better, so maybe that's why I wanted the cleft. I don't know how else to explain it. Of course, one of Michael's favorite theories about him is that Michael is trying to transform himself into the image of Diana Ross, as Diana has a cleft in her chin. Mostly, this theory is the result of the popular connection between the two stars over the years and some family members' recollections of Michael making statements to Janet and Latoya, such as, You're not pretty unless you start looking like Diana. After surgery and with the help of carefully applied makeup, Michael sometimes did resemble Diana with tweezed, arched eyebrows, high cheekbones, and a tapered nose, actually much more tapered than Diana's. Still, the resemblance was in the eye of the beholder. When an associate told Diana that Michael was trying to look like her, Diana was dismayed by the notion. She sized Michael up and snapped. I look like that? In fact, Michael did not want to look like Dana, even if he was enraptured by her image, allure, glimmer, and also her power. He did try to recreate her from time to time, though by playing out certain Miss Ross fantasies in front of witnesses. Beverly Hills limousine chauffeur Ralph Caracosa recalls having driven Michael to a destination. He looked into the rearview mirror and asked, Where to now, Mr. Jackson? Michael said, Call me Miss Ross, won't you? When there was the night Michael Cohen putting out her makeup backstage at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Former Supreme star Cindy Birdsong reported that when Diana scolded him, How many times have I told you not to stay on my makeup? Michael responded by saying, But Diana, it's magic. Once, when Michael checked into the Swan Cinema Palace in Manhattan, he telephoned the front desk from a house phone in the lobby and in front of amused witnesses, used his best imitation of Diana's speaking voice to hoodwink the operator. My suite is not good enough, he said, acting like disgruntled diva. How dare you put me in that suite? There are no flowers, and I think I saw a mouse, and I'm just really upset. I can't even go back up there. Who is this? The surprised operator asked. Why, it's Miss Ross, Michael answered, trying to suppress a giggle. Miss Dana Ross. Who do you think it is? How dare you even ask? By the time the operator put him on hold, Michael was grinning from ear to ear. She believes me, he whispered excitedly. She thinks I'm Diana Ross. The operator came back on the line. Diana Ross isn't staying here. Oh, she's not, Michael responded. Sorry. Then he quickly hung up, laughing so hysterically he could barely catch his breath. Most people who know Michael agree that there are two reasons why he has so much plastic surgery. First of all, he strove for some ideal of physical perfection, or his version of it anyway. He spent most of his life studying pictures of himself, not to mention the hours dancing in front of mirrors, looking at videos, deciding which are his best features and which are not. I just want to look the best I can look, he told Frank Loya. But when did you stop? Frank asked. Michael shrugged. I'm a work in progress, he said with a generous smile. Publicly, Frank never had much patience for questions about Michael's plastic surgery, mostly because he did not explain it. Okay, so he had his nose fixed, and the cleft, big deal. I got news for you, he said. My nose has been broken 5 times. It's been fixed twice. Who gives a crap? Who cares? Alice has nose done. Marilyn Monroe had her nose done. Had her chest done. Everybody's had it done. As well as improving his appearance, Michael had also another reason for the operations. All of the Jackson boys grew up to resemble their father, Joseph. Michael could not have imagined a worse fate for himself, and he did everything he could to destroy the resemblance. Certainly, he has many of his father's characteristics, whether or not he recognizes them. Joseph's determination to the point of ruthlessness, his cold-hearted business sense, and on the plus side, his love of family. Emotionally, Michael may be a lot like Joseph, though he'll never emulate Joseph's cold-hearted unfaithfulness and love. And he has said in frying times outside, though, he isn't like Joseph at all. He told me so himself, sick of former girlfriend Barry Gordy's, who has known Michael for years. He will do anything not to look like Joseph, believe me. The last thing he wants to see when he looks at the man in the mirror is his father. With each operation, he distances himself not only from his father, but from the whole family. I'm afraid that's the sad point of all the surgery. The tragedy is, and concluded Joyce McCrae, a longtime intimate who worked in Joseph's office, no matter how much Michael tries to scrub Joseph off his face, he's still there. Or as Joseph Jackson so applied it, it takes a father to make a son. It was after Michael's operation to have the cleft chin that he first began being seen wearing a surgical mask with a black fedora and sunglasses. The press speculated that he was obsessed with catching germs, reminiscent of Howard Hughes' fixation on health issues. Michael said nothing publicly. If you knew Michael well enough, you knew what was going on, Joseph Cray said. As soon as I saw him wearing a surgical mask, I say, oh, he had the cleft done. People told me, what, that's ridiculous. Well, sure enough, well, that's what was going on. At this time, Michael appeared at a movie memorabilia showcase at the Coincidental Hat Hotel in Hollywood wearing a blue surgical mask and a black fedora. To say he looked conspicuous would be an understatement. When the vendors saw him coming their way, they would triple the prices of all their goods because they knew Michael represented a windfall for them. He was shopping for Disney memorabilia with a young boy and Bill Bray. His security man, whether he saw something he liked, he mumbled through his surgical mask for Bray to purchase the item. Bray would then pull out a wad of $100 bills, pay the vendor, and move on to the next display. The fact that the prices were raised especially for him did not escape Michael. They see me coming and they feel like I have a lot of money, so they take advantage of me, he told me. That's really not fair, is it? No, it's not, Michael, but what's with the surgical mask? I asked. I have my wisdom teeth taken out, he told me. Oh man, the misery. You couldn't believe what I've been gone through. Sounds awful, I said. Michael shook his head softly. It's awful. When Michael did not cover his face with a surgical mask, he would venture forth in public wearing a hairy gorilla mask with fur and beady eyes. I love it when people stop and are scared, he said. I love it when they don't know that it's me inside the mask. I just love it. And it's a great paradox about Michael that he is as much of a public showman, show off, as he is a recluse. Sometimes, though, his exploits can prove embarrassing. Once while walking through an airport wearing the gorilla mask, he tripped over a Santa ashtray and fell into the floor in a heap in front of a host of paparazzi, all because his vision was obscured. When the bandages came off after the cleft operation, Michael concentrated more than ever on his appearance. The new cleft seemed oddly out of place on the bottom of his soft and genuine-like face. After all the procedures, Michael's nose was slimmer than ever, and it also pointed upward, an odd touch. Tweezing his eyebrows gave him a softer, even more feminine look. His skin seemed to be over-the-counter skin bleach cream called Porcelana to achieve that look. Latoya used it as well. They had crates of this cream stored at Havenhurst, hoarding it as the most valuable beauty product ever produced. Also, Michael executed in a strict, robotic diet that left him quite thin and made his face even look more sculpted. If I ate like him, I'd be dead, Frank DeLeo says cynically. In truth, Michael Jackson had begun looking more than a little unusual. It was difficult to be in the same room with him and not stare in disbelief, especially if you had known him since he was a child. Comedian Eddie Murphy probably had it best when he said, I love Michael, but the brother is strange.